Buenas, le habla Juan Carlos Villá, Juan Carlos ESL. Bienvenidos a todos para lección número 3. Welcome everyone to Juan Carlos ESL, Newcomers, lesson 3. So in today's lesson, we're going to emphasize on numbers and age. En esta lección vamos a concentrarnos en números y edad. Comencemos. So we're going to start off by sharing my screen. So just give me a moment while I look for my Juan Carlos ESL Newcomers lesson 3. Here we are. All right, so let's start here. Lesson 3, Newcomers, Unit 1, getting started. All right, so in the previous 2 lessons, we have talked about the alphabets and introducing yourselves. Now in today's lesson, we're going to concentrate in numbers and age. En las últimas 2 lecciones hablamos asuntos de introduciéndonos y también el abecedario en el lenguaje de inglés. Ahora vamos a continuar con números. So standards in this class or lesson is aligned with WIDA. WIDA standard number 1, social and instructional language. Engage in everyday social interactions to communicate basic needs and ideas. Students will be practicing simple greetings and introductions as well as self-descriptions. Entonces, así como en las últimas 2 clases y lecciones, esta lección también también corresponde con los estándares de WIDA, que también se utilizan en las escuelas públicas aquí en los Estados Unidos. Aplican con comunicación social de todos los días, comunicando ideas básicas y ideas, también practicando salud y introducciones, también como describiéndose uno mismo en el lenguaje de inglés. So WIDA Standard 2, the language for language arts. So understand and use language structure like be verbs and sentence frame to describe oneself and others. También vamos a estar usando gramáticas, asuntos del be verb, es am, is, and are, y también marcas de oraciones para poder describirnos uno mismo y describir a otros. So those are the standards we'll be applying in this lesson. So the content in this lesson is aligned to WIDA. It's also specifically for newcomers or entry level. Unit 1, getting started, and then lesson 3, numbers and age. That is the content you will see in this lesson. Estamos en unidad 1, comenzando, lección 3, números y edad. Lesson objectives. English as a second language objective. Students will practice identifying and pronouncing numbers 0 to 100 in English. Students will also be using be verbs, am, is, and are correctly in simple sentence frames. And students should be able to construct basic sentences using numbers and be verbs. Entonces, los objetivos de esta clase, en esta lección, los estudiantes van a estar practicando, identificando y pronunciando números de 0 a 100 en lenguaje de inglés. También vamos a estar utilizando verbos de be, am, is, and are, es como decir soy, es o son. Vamos a estar aplicándolo en las oraciones según el contexto de la oración. Y lo vamos a hacer correctamente en oraciones simples, marcas de oraciones simples. Y también estudiantes van a estar construyendo oraciones básicas usando números y los verbos de be. Lesson components. So we're going to start off with an icebreaker, followed by a warm-up, vocabulary, guided practice, independent practice, and then we're going to see an exit ticket as well at the end, followed by the exit ticket will be a 20-question quiz. And this is an estimation of the timeline in the order of the components of the lesson. So we're going to do the icebreaker followed by the warm-up. It will transition into a warm-up within the 10 minutes of the lesson. followed by a vocabulary segment, then move on to the guided practice, and that will take approximately 30 minutes or so. Then we would transition to the independent practice where you will work independent on your own once we have practiced together as a class in the guided practice session. Once you complete the independent practice, you should be ready for the exit ticket and move on to the quiz. The exit ticket and the quiz should not take no more than 20 minutes. Again, this is an estimation. If you need more time, obviously you're more than welcome to occupy more time. The important thing is that we're all learning and growing in this lesson. Entonces aquí es una estimación de tiempo, asunto cuánto podemos demorar en cada segmento de la lección. Asunto del icebreaker y calentamiento, 10 minutos, vocabulario también 10 minutos, una práctica de guianza media hora, práctica independiente media hora y también el boleto de salida y después la prueba al final 20 minutos. Si necesitan más tiempo en cada segmento, están más que bienvenidos a hacerlos. Lo importante es que sigan aprendiendo y creciendo en cada lección. All right, so this is the alphabet which we went over in the previous lesson. In lesson 2, we discussed the English alphabet. I purposely put this slide in this lesson as a review for you to go over the alphabet, and then once you have refreshed your mind with the English alphabet, move on to today's lesson. Entonces, este es el abecedario del inglés. A propósito, lo puse ahorita en esta presentación para que repasen lo que aprendieron en la última lección, de lección 2, que aprendimos asunto del abecedario. Lo puse ahorita en esta presentación para que lo repasen. So let's just do a quick review of the English alphabet. Just repeat after me, and then we'll move on to the next slide. A. B, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. All right. So that's a review of the English alphabet. And let's also practice the vowels. Remember, we also went over the vowels in last week's class. También repasamos los vocales en la última lección. Entonces repasemos los vocales. A, E, I, O, U, the English vowels. All right, so here's the icebreaker. Aquí está rompe de hielo. To begin, we're going to just give a prompt question. How old are you? So when you're introducing yourselves and you get starting to build a relationship with someone, obviously not only are you sharing your name and your nationality, where you're from, or state or city you're from, but you're also sharing your age, and age is a number. So that is why we are going over numbers in this lesson. Entonces, así cuando uno está introduciéndonos, conociendo a alguien y edificando una relación, no solo va a compartir su nombre y también su nacionalidad o su estado o ciudad donde es, pero también va a compartir su edad con una amistad de confianza y también la edad es un número. Entonces, por eso está aquí en este ejemplo. So, how old are you? ¿Cuántos años de edad usted tiene? I am blank years old. So this is the sentence frame that we mentioned in the standard at the beginning of the class, and our job is to fulfill it with a number. I am, and you can see the be verb am is being used due to the subject I. Entonces aquí estamos tomando en cuenta una oración que hay que llenar el espacio vacío con un número. I am blank years old. You could say an example, I am 47 years old. Un ejemplo, yo soy o yo tengo, so it would be more formal, más gramáticamente correcto en español, que uno diga yo tengo 47 años de edad, mientras en inglés es I am. Entonces el inglés no siempre va am, no siempre va a decir soy, también am se puede interpretar como tengo. Yo tengo 47 años de edad. I am 47 years old. So 47 in the form of words is 47. It's the same number, but in a word format. So I am 47 years old. I am 47 years old. Entonces aquí lo tienen en formato de un número, es el mismo número, pero en formato de palabras, escrito en palabras. Yo tengo 47 años de edad. I am 47 years old. Okay. Number 2, how many people live in your house? ¿Cuántas gente o cuántas personas vive en su casa? How many people live in your house? ¿Cuántas personas vive en su casa? So again, you're asking for a number. Una vez más, está preguntando por un número. So you could say blank people live in my house. So an example, 4 people live in my house. So the reason I'm not mentioning the number in an example sentence, number 4, because you do not, formally speaking, you do not begin a sentence with a number. You can use the number in words, in a word format, like in this example, for, F-O-U-R, capital F-O-U-R, as a word. 4 people live in my house. But you do not want to use it in a word of the number as the beginning of a sentence, because that would be informal. So here in this example, it is formal. You can begin the word, the number, the word of a number as the beginning of a sentence, and it has to be capitalized. Entonces, sí se puede utilizar números en palabras al comienzo de una oración, mientras también comience con una letra mayúscula. Sí, comienza con la F en mayúscula. So you can begin with the word for as long as the F is capitalized. 4 people live in my house. 4 personas viven en mi casa. 4 personas viven en mi casa. 4 people live in my house. Number 3, how many states are there in the United States? ¿Cuántos estados hay en los Estados Unidos? How many states are there in the United States? So you see the map. Remember in last lessons, in the previous lesson, We talked about the importance of learning English and how English is being spoken in a variety of countries, including the United States of America. You can see in this example, we're asking how many states are there in the United States. ¿Cuántos estados hay en los Estados Unidos? So you are, so sorry about that. So you're asking about, you're asking a number again. Otra vez estamos preguntando por un número. How many states are there in the United States? There are blank states. Could say there are 50 states. Hay 50 estados. There are 50 states. Hay 50 estados. So again, when you're talking about are, that means you're discussing a plural form or a plural subject. In this case, states, 50 states, that's plural, a plural noun. So it's gonna require the be verb are in that sentence, in that example. So there are 50 states. So again, since 50 is in the middle of the sentence, you could use both as a double-digit number or as the word 50. There are 50 states. Entonces aquí tenemos 50 en la mitad de la oración. Entonces está bien que uno utilice el número mismo en la oración. También lo puedo utilizar en forma de palabra. There are 50 states. Number 4, how many stripes are there in the American flag? ¿Cuántas rayas hay en la bandera americana? How many stripes are there in the American flag? So for those who are studying to become U.S. citizens, you have to prepare to take the U.S. citizenship tests. These are one of the questions that you will come across. They will ask you about the colors of the American flag, how many stripes are there in the American flag, and this is one of those questions. How many stripes are there in the American flag? Para los que están estudiando para la ciudadanía de los Estados Unidos, esta es una de las preguntas que le hacen. ¿Cuántas rayas hay en la bandera americana? So there are blank stripes. So all we have to do is count the number of stripes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So we count 13 stripes. There are 13 stripes. So again, it's 13 is the number. We could also use the word format. There are 13 stripes. To be more specific, there are 13 stripes in the American flag. Hay 13 rayas en la bandera americana. Okay, there are 13 stripes. And then last example, last question for our icebreaker. How many red stripes are there in the American flag? So this one's being more specific. ¿Cuántas rayas rojas hay en la bandera americana? Entonces esta pregunta es más específica. Asunto de rayas rojas. How many red stripes are there in the American flag? So we count the red stripes specifically. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we count 7 red stripes. There are blank red stripes. There are 7 red stripes. Again, you could use the number or the word itself. There are 7 red stripes in the American flag. Entonces, de nuevo, se puede usar el número, como estamos en la mitad de la oración, puedo usar el número o la palabra 7 en inglés, que es 7. There are 7 red stripes. Hay 7 rayas rojas. There are 7 red stripes. Okay, so that concludes our icebreaker. If you have any questions about the icebreaker or any comments, feel free to share in the comments here in the YouTube channel, or give any comments in Teachers Pay Teachers. I do read the feedback given from students in YouTube and also in Teachers Pay Teachers. So you're more than welcome to share your feedback and comments, questions, and thoughts about this lesson. All right, moving on to warm-up. So the warm-up objective, we're going to activate prior knowledge to practice identifying and pronouncing numbers in English. Entonces, el objetivo del calentamiento, vamos a activar nuestro conocimiento para practicar identificando y pronunciando números en el inglés. So, number one, which number is greater? Número uno, ¿cuál número es mayor? Which number is greater? A, 25, or B, 52? ¿Cuál número es mayor? A, 25, or B, 52? So B, 52 is the correct answer. For obvious, it's 52 has greater value. So that's why it answers the question, which number is greater? 52 is the greater number in this example. So I'll repeat, 52, 52, 52. Number two, which number comes after 79? Which number comes after 79? ¿Cuál número viene después de 79? So after es decir, después. Which number comes after 79? A, 80, 80, or B, 78, o B, 78. Which number comes after 79? If you answered A, 80, you're correct. Si respondieron con A, 80, están correctos. So which number comes after 79? 80. 80 comes after 79. Let's all repeat. 80. 80. Number three. Which sentence is correct? Which sentence is correct? ¿Cuál oración es correcta? A, I is 12 years old. B, she is 12 years old. Which is correct? I is 12 years old. She is 12 years old. B is correct. She is 12 years old. Entonces, ¿cuál oración es correcta? If you answered B, you are correct. She is 12 years old. Ella tiene 12 años de edad. She is 12 years old. All right, so that concludes the warm-up. Now we're moving on to the vocabulary segment of this today's lesson. So vocabulary, numbers, and English. So we will be reading each number out loud. You will follow my lead in this reading drill, and then you will be reading it as well. So follow along. So I'll notice that the numbers are in vertical basis. So make sure you follow. We're going to be reading it vertically from top to the bottom, one row after another. Move this to the side. All right, so we'll be reading each number 2 times. So let's begin. 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, 9, 9, 10, 10, 11, 11, 12, 12, 13, 13, 14, 14, 15, 15, 16, 16, 17, 17, 18, 18, 19, 19, 20, 20, 21, 21, 22, 22, 23, 23, 24, 24, 25, 25, 26, 26, 27, 27, 28, 28, 29, 29, 30, 30, 31, 31, 32, 32, 33, 33, 34, 34, 35, 35, 36, 36, 37, 37, 38, 38, 39, 39, 40, 40, 41, 41, 42, 42, 43, 43, 44, 44, 45, 45, 46, 46, 47, 47, 48, 48, 49, 49, 50, 50, 51, 51, 52, 52, 53, 53, 54, 54, 55, 55, 56, 56, 57, 57, 58, 58, 59, 59, 60, 60, 61, 61, 62, 62, 63, 63, 64, 64, 65, 65, 66, 66, 67, 67, 68, 68, 69, 69, 70, 70, 71, 71, 72, 72, 73, 73, 74, 74, 75, 75, 76, 76, 77, 77, 78, 78, 79, 79, 80, 80, 81, 81, 82, 82, 83, 83, 84, 84, 85, 85, 86, 86, 87, 87, 88, 88, 89, 89, 90, 90, 91, 91, 92, 92, 93, 93, 94, 94, 95, 95, 96, 96, 97, 97, 98, 98, 99, 99, 100, 100, 101, 101, 102, 102, 103, 103, 104, 104, 105, 105, 106, 106, 107, 107, 108, 108, 109, 109, 110, 110, 120, 120, 130, 130, 140, 140, 150, 150, 160, 160, 170, 170. Oh, gotta make a correction here. 170, 180, 180, 190, 190, 200, 200. And then now we go into hundreds and thousands. 300, 300, 400, 400, 500, 500, 600, 600, 700, 700, 800, 800, 900, 900, 1,000, 1,000, 10,000, 10,000, 100,000, 100,000, 1 million, 1 million, 1 billion, 1 billion. All right, so those are the vocabulary words that we have introduced. So make sure you practice writing them, practice reading them, and practice pronouncing them. Make sure you're reading out loud. So I would recommend that you read these numbers out loud. You first write them out, write each word 10 times each to understand and comprehend and remember the spelling of each word. Remember, these are numbers and words format as well. So it's important and critical that we also learn how to spell each number as well. Acordémonos y les recomiendo que escriban los números en forma de palabras para que también aprendan cómo se escribe la palabra del número. Así como hemos leído ahorita, practiquen leyéndolo, escriban cada número en palabra 10 veces. Eso les va a ayudar a recordar cómo se dice, cómo se pronuncia y cómo se escribe. All right, so those are the vocabulary numbers in English. So again, you have any questions about the numbers in English, feel free to comment in my YouTube channel or my Teachers Pay Teacher stores. I'll be more than happy to go over and review and read your feedback. All right, guided practice conversation. So here we're going to continue. We're going to incorporate numbers into the conversation as we've done in previous guided practice conversations. We're applying what we're learning into the conversation. So let's conversation between two students, choose a partner or have your teacher assign you to a partner, or if you're self-studying, it could be your own partner, read both, or you could choose a partner to practice this exercise. So let's begin. Student A and then student B. So student A will say, how old are you? B will respond, I am blank years old. A, how do you spell blank? So here what we're doing is the number that B responds, A is asking, how do you spell that particular number? And then B is going to say it is spelled letter by letter is going to spell out that number relating to his age. And then A is going to ask B, how many friends do you have?